Welcome to the Millionaire Mindcast, where we broadcast weekly interviews with millionaire minds from across the globe to empower you on your journey of unlocking a rich and fulfilling life. It's time to unleash your millionaire within. Now, here's your host, Maddie A.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Millionaire Mindcast, the show that focuses on all things mindset, money, and motivation to help you increase your income, impact, and influence. As always, I'm your host, Maddie A, and today we have another amazing conversation that is going to help you on your wealth building journey, but it focuses on a particular area of the overall wealth conversation, which is your health and really the mindset around health. But before we dive into today's interview, just want to remind you that we have daily affirmations, quotes, funny videos, motivational videos, all kinds of new content going on to the Facebook page and the YouTube channel. So if you haven't checked those out, subscribed or liked those yet, be sure to do that. We'll also have all the links in below in the show description if you're watching this on YouTube, as well as you can find that on our website, matthson.com. So with that being said, let's discuss today's Millionaire Worth Modeling, Mr. Nicholas Bayerle. Nicholas and his wife run a company called the $1 Billion Body. It's a newer company that's really taking names and making some commotion in the health space. They focus particularly on health and wealth and this lifestyle and how they combine together. And we talk a lot about that into today's interview, but Nicholas has a really cool story. He's a young guy, he's a millennial, 25 years old, and you're probably thinking, man, how has this guy done so much and how does he know so much already at such a young age? But I mean, he's got hundreds of high-paying, high-net worth clients in multi 6- and 7-figure businesses, hard-charging entrepreneurs, small business owners, and then just average individuals who are looking to take charge of their health and really get their mindset aligned with living a wealthy life, including internally first and how we take care of our body. So we have a lot of conversations around that, and they have the $1 Billion Body. It's a community, it's a course, it's a program, as well as coaching and tools and resources that are available to anybody that wants to learn more on taking back control of their health, and not only taking back control of their health, but taking it to that next level and getting your mind in a space that allows you to do that. So we dive into that in this interview, and one of the things that I really enjoyed was our conversation around little mini routines. I think we all have a specific routine that we like to rely on, and yet sometimes we just don't know if it's the right routine. So he got me thinking differently about my routine. We talk about breathing. We talk about the importance of water. We talk about this mindset shift from the Honda Civic to the Ferrari and the difference between the two, and I'll let him do the explaining of that because he shares some cool stuff in the interview, as well as his favorite snacks for hard-charging individuals who are busy and always on the go, favorite health resources, apps, a lot of great conversation all around this space of health. So want to make sure we're bringing you diversified content, not just all about finances, but most importantly about the other areas and pillars of life that encompass this entire wealth building model of living like a millionaire in all aspects of your life. So today is one of those amazing conversations. Video interviews are now available on YouTube. If you're not watching this on YouTube, feel free to check out the YouTube channel and subscribe. Also, if you haven't done so already, be sure to download the top 50 millionaire recommended reads to find your next book read. But I want to remind you guys that moving forward, we're going to be having more free resources and tools available to you each and every month. So the next one that we're releasing is our next free guide, the top 25 wealth building books to help you on your journey of unlocking more wealth and money and financial abundance in your lives. And these are all books that have been recommended to us from top wealth advisors, the rich, individuals who are just niched down in particular wealth building spaces that we know can add some diversity to your education. So all great books coming out soon, so we'll keep you posted when those are coming live. And with that being said, I think we got all that out of the way. So let's go ahead and dive in. But before we do that, a quick message from one of our sponsors. Have you ever wanted to tap into the minds of other successful millionaires and see exactly what things they are learning and implementing in their lives and businesses? Well, now you can by subscribing to Millionaire Notes, the exclusive monthly newsletter that delivers all the books, resources, insights, and strategies that the brightest millionaires from around the world are leveraging to build wealthier lives. Each and every month, the Millionaire Mindcast team and I compile the best tips, tools, and wisdom shared by my guests of the show from all the mastermind groups I'm a part of, from the countless conferences I pay thousands of dollars to attend, and most importantly, the journals my millionaire mentors have given me access to. I've always been a big believer that success leaves clues, and by learning from other brilliant minds, we are able to model our way to a more rich and fulfilling life. And being that time is a limited and precious resource for all of us, we figured here at the Millionaire Mindcast team, we would do all the legwork for you, mine through all the data, and deliver you the most valuable golden nuggets that you can use and implement in your life each and every month. You don't have to do all the research. You don't have to pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars to attend the conferences and the events to gain access to this elite information for literally the price of a morning latte for just $5 a month. You can have all these delivered to your inbox. If you have any desire to increase your income, your impact, or your influence, then Millionaire Notes is for you. To receive your monthly edition, text Millionaire Notes, all one word, to 44222. There's no contracts. You can cancel at any time you like. To sign up today, all you have to do is text Millionaire Notes, all one word, to 44222. Let's dive back into the show. We got another amazing Mindcast conversation today. We just got punched in the face before we even started.
I get excited, man. I'm sorry. It's just like boom, boom, boom.
Nicholas, what's going on, man?
Oh, man, it's great to be here. I'm in San Diego. This is actually a day that I'm able to wear a sweater. It's so weird. I've been tanning every day on the phone, but I'm feeling great, man. I'm happy to be here on the show.
Dude, I don't want to hear that. We're getting like rain. You're over there relaxing on the beach, getting a suntan. I turned pink, so, there's not much I can do there. But how is everything going in your world right now?
Dude, everything's just going crazy. And not everything has been like this. I'm sure we'll get into a little bit of my backstory, but a lot of it is perspective. People may be going through crazy things right now. My dad just a couple of years ago got into a really bad motorcycle accident, crushed the whole left side of his body. But remembering that a lot of people are out there praying for your problem is a big deal to me. Everyone has problems. It's just you choose what problems you want to have. You want to have the poor money problems, or do you want to have rich money problems? They both come with problems. You just choose. So it's tough for me to complain, but I'm really blessed with where I'm at, married, healthy, business is thriving and impacting tens of thousands of men at the same time.
So you and I have had this kind of conversation about, wealth far beyond dollars and being, maybe some people are financially very well off, yet they're bankrupt in their relationships and how they give back to their community. Their health is a big one. And I know this is a space that you guys own and you play in, and you guys are really carving out yourselves as, a category king in how you deliver your content, how you support your clients, and how you've used this passion to generate wealth yourself. So for those that don't know about you, your business, the $1 Billion Body, community, and the events that you guys are doing, give us a little backdrop on what led you into this space and now where the heck you guys are at.
So you touched on a lot of points there, and it takes me back to why I even started the business in the first place. I was traveling all over the world to the poorest countries and the poorest people. So I went to Bulgaria, Turkey, Greece, France, Scotland, London, South Africa, Mozambique, multiple places in Mexico, and different places all throughout those countries. And I discovered and with the team, of course, it wasn't just me like pioneering through all these places, but through that time, I discovered even places I'd never seen a white person before. Right? It was the first time that some pale guy came out of the woods, and it was like, whoa, who's this? And through that experience, I thought that I was serving the poor, really. But once you have clothes, a house, food, and all these different things, I realized that they were a lot more happy than the people here in America. And so multiple things happened in that moment. Is one, I realized that people are more poor with stuff than these people were that didn't have any stuff, but they were really rich inside, not with things that you can buy, but with what money can't buy, which is something that we really preach, is that, Steve Jobs would have spent all of his money to live for one more year.
Right.
And he didn't even have that good of a life, to be honest. The guy was kind of miserable, and he would have spent all that money, but guess what? He couldn't do it. He couldn't buy his health. He couldn't buy happiness. He couldn't buy love. You can buy girls, you can buy supplements, you can buy all those things, but you can't buy that feeling of fulfillment inside of you. And that's something that people are searching for. And I saw that a lot of these people out there, they were very happy, especially when they got just the bare minimum. So on top of that, I realized that there's lots of people out there that want to go to poor countries and serve. I was in a school where literally 1,200 of us went out and did that, and everyone had to raise money. So I thought, what if my wife and I created a company that not only served the poorest people that we actually know, which are the richest, and on top of that, we were able to send 1,198 other students out. I feel like that's laying down my life more than living in garbage dumps serving people. And we went out there and we created a business out of that, and we help people transform their health and fitness, which also will transform their life and their business. And the reason we did that is because, man, health has been the biggest transforming power in my life, because out of the three things, out of coaching 630 men on my own over the last 4.5 years, those are the one-on-ones, is the big thing that we found out is that health, business, and relationships are in the top three priorities. We like to have them in health, relationships, business is the way that order we like to do them. And why we do that is because business and relationships always have someone on the other side. And if whatever the first priority in your life is, it dictates all the other priorities and how you feel when you do them. So if relationships is one and someone flips you off, like I've had happen many times in my life, it doesn't feel good. Hate when that happens. And if I have that energy and all my other priorities dictate how I do everything, I don't want to eat healthy. I don't want to invest in myself because I think lower of myself. But when health is my number one, no one can stop me. Physical, mental, spiritual health. No one has to be there on the other side to make it happen. Of course, you have mentorships and accountability, but eating, drinking, breathing, sleeping, exercise, those are 5 things that are physical you can do, and they take no one else. And the best part is you do 4 out of 5 every day, just wrong. So if you can allow that to dictate how you feel in the other things, it then brings you satisfaction, fulfillment, happiness, these things that money can't buy. And those should be the things driving you to build your company, to have a relationship. You don't want to chase something to get, right? If you're chasing the carrot on the stick that's saying, once I do, I'll be this. Once I do this, I'll be happy. Once I do this, I'll be fulfilled. Once I do this, everything will be fine. You'll find that once you get there, you'll have to get something else. And on top of that, you'll sabotage yourself back into a place of lack, because that's the only time you feel like you have purpose.
Yeah, a lot of times we have what you said, right? The order of things very, very backwards. And yet it starts with an awareness around what order we actually should have them in, and then also making sure that those are in alignment with our goals and our mission and everything that we're looking to accomplish. For you, what was your journey of, going from this awakening of being unhealthy, being that you're a very driven individual, right? I think a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners and just people who want to achieve at a high level have those, those feelings is we charge the mountain. But oftentimes the other things that are important, like what you said, health being a very, in your mind, number one pillar and focus. How was your awakening, and where did it come from, and what did you learn from it that led you down this new path?
Awesome. So at 2 years old, my dad taught me something really that shifted my whole mindset forever. And he pushed me down the hill on my bicycle with no training wheels. I fell a lot more than other kids, but ultimately training wheels weren't in my future. They were something that were a crutch that helps me not fall. And so eliminating all my crutches in my life was a big deal, because if I'm not going to use it in the future, I don't even start with it. Even if it makes me crash and burn or get hurt. What that did was that I ended up being the youngest kid in the world to start racing bicycles ever. I was 2 years old racing on a track because my dad eliminated my crutches. And so from there, I wanted to be a professional motocross rider. That was my only goal. Though I did start a business when I was 12 years old because my dad was always a business owner. That was literally just to make money and try something that my dad wanted me to do. And then I wanted to invest that money into buying motorcycles. So that's what I did. 14 years old, I decided I want to be number one. And I don't know if there's any other entrepreneurs out there that maybe had a clouded mind. If I wasn't first, I literally thought I was last, just like Talladega Nights. It was just, if you're not first, you're last. I thought that's exactly how I think. And I totally thought it was exactly how you were supposed to think. And my dad told me one day, I was behind him. I was walking into the garage down these 3 steps, and outside the back of the garage, there was a back door. We had a patio out there. Right before we got to that back door, I told my dad, Dad, I want to be the best. Let's take it to the next level. And he looked at me and he said, you'll never be the best. And that crushed me. My only goal is to be number one. Didn't know how to communicate it. I didn't talk to my dad for almost 3 years, besides on Christmas and stuff when I had to. Locked myself in the house, dropped to a 1.8 GPA, gained 60 pounds, and gave up on everything in life. So my only goal, my only mission in life was taken away from me.
Wow.
It wasn't until some kid brought fruit to school, and this is how easy transformations can happen. One, realized that my life transformed for the negative in one moment. One word. Which equally means that it can transform for the positive in one word. And it can be the stupidest thing ever. And that's why I give back to high school students and college students all the time. I'm speaking at an event in either September or January to 500 to 600 kids that are 18 to 26. And the reason why is because one kid brought fruit to school. And I said, why do you have that? He said, my boxing coach put me on a plan so I can weigh in at the correct weight and perform better. And I thought, performance, drop weight. And I was already getting made fun of. I was wearing a sweatshirt every single day. Lowest self-esteem out of any man that I've seen, out of any of the men that I've coached, was me. And so from that point, it gives me authority to be able to coach with these people. So I ended up going home. I dropped 53 pounds in 6 months without even working out at all. Never knew how. And through that journey, at 18 years old, I had a real awakening happen where for me, it was like I found my mentor. I found someone who cared about me. And at that point, it was God. Like I found God. It was the craziest thing that ever happened to me, transformed my whole life. And from that gave me actual purpose to not just have this health for myself, but to give it away to other people. Because my name was Nick all the way up till I was 18, until I had this moment where I felt like God came into my life, transformed it. Whatever people think or believe, whatever, I just have to tell my story authentically or else I'm doing you a disservice. So, basically, my name was Nick my whole life, means victory. At 18, I feel like I received that victory. And then for some reason, I want to be called Nicholas. I looked it up a couple months later and I realized it meant victory of the people. And that's when I believe highly in your name defines who you are a lot of times. Sometimes we need to change our names because of that. And so victory, people were speaking that over me my whole life. Nick, 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 Nick. Even my teachers that were screaming at me, Nick, get the hell out of the classroom, still speaking victory over me because that's what it meant. And when I got it finally, it switched to Nicholas, which is victory of the people. And so through that journey, I found my wife. I was able to discover my passion and my business, how I wanted to make a big impact in this world, and also give back to all those people and help the poorest people in the world become prosperous in their health, their business, and their relationships, where they find fulfillment. And outside of that fulfillment, they go and create. They don't create out of lack, but they create because they are fulfilled. I have people that make tens of millions of dollars that are not fulfilled and don't give energy to people. I have 21-year-olds that are totally feeling fulfilled. They give so much energy and they haven't even made any money yet. But guess what? Out of that state, they will create wealth, they will create health, and they will create success.
I love that. And it's interesting. You touched on a lot of things, and I always love to ask this question because everybody has a different answer. It's all perspective, which, set of lenses you're seeing life through. What does wealth mean to you? What's your definition of wealth?
Oh man, wealth is one, it's a different definition for everyone. A lot of people want success and wealth. Success and wealth to me are both very similar. Success is what you do to create wealth, but wealth is realizing, one, what you already have. The $1 billion body is not meant to trick people into thinking that they need to create one. Everyone thinks that, hey, you have a $1 billion body, Nicholas, like I want one too. The point is to get them to realize that they already have one. So because of that, they treat their life that way and their body that way. So wealth is one, realizing the opportunity that you've been given. And because of that, you go and do. And if you just realize what you've already got, the fact that you had a 1 in 400 trillion chance of even being a freaking live, then all of a sudden out of there you can create, and wealth comes into your life through those different avenues of gratefulness and realizing what you do have. Of course, you can create and experience all the wealth that is provided for you on the planet, but first it comes out of the actual state of being. Like I said, these people in Africa, these people in Bulgaria, they were really wealthy and they gave a lot to me than monetary things can give, right?
Yeah.
So I could speak on that all day, what I think wealth is, because wealth comes in relationship form. It comes in a feeling. It comes in experiences. But ultimately, those experiences will never be had out of a mindset of lack. Because if you're just looking for more and more and more and never appreciating what you have, you need to equally be hungry as you are satisfied at the same time in everything that you do. You need to equally be hungry or humble as you are like pretty much full of pride that you're the best in the world. I still believe I'm the best of the world at what I do. And I still believe I can become the best at everything. But I equally am humble at the same time that I know that there's a lot of people that are better than me at this current moment.
Yeah. The wise man grows happiness underneath his own feet. And that comes with a mindset, but it also comes with a lot of,
That's really good.
a lot of practice. You know, I don't know. It's a good quote that,
probably like Socrates or
yeah, one of the famous philosophers,
Dalai Lama.
But it's true, right? We create it internally before it becomes our external reality. And I know for a lot of people who are chasing health, right? A lot of people do this yo-yo, this up and down. You see it all the time. What is your advice for that individual? You know, because we hear people like Gary Vaynerchuk, right? For example, say you grind and grind and grind and grind and you eat chicken nuggets and, you know, fast food and do whatever you got to do to make it happen. Well, yeah, that's great. And you're sacrificing your health. You're sacrificing relationships. You're sacrificing something in order for that dream. Can you have it all? Can you still focus on your health while you do that?
Oh, our clients show it all the time. I have people that have $10 million businesses that we help by transforming their health. They think it's going to take away from their life. They end up getting 2 hours of productivity every day on average, which is 48-hour work days per year, more than you, or not you, but the person that's listening that isn't doing that, right? It's like that 48-hour workday is more than the guy that he was a couple months ago. That's a huge deal. And let's just give you an example of Tommy before I get into how you can honor your body, because it's the mindset shift that really will get you to invest in your body. There's many healthy people out there that don't have a good mindset, but there's never someone with a truly good mindset that isn't healthy, successful, and has great relationships.
So true.
Impossible. And if you think you have a good mindset without those three, well, then that's just deception. Sorry, just have to say it. So Tommy at 33 years old, somewhere right around there. He may correct me. He lost 50 pounds with us, has continued to do so and keep that health up. And through that time, he's running a $10 million business that was his own in Texas while trying to do comedy, but wasn't really into any acting. And he really wanted to pursue those, but every day always had this time in the middle of the day where he couldn't get anything done. He would shut his office door in his building and he would act like he was working, and he would go take a nap on his sofa all the time. And then you wake up and you're not being productive. Since working with us, he's gained that productivity that we talked about, that feeling of energizement, the feeling that he just feels confident, where he's able to do more comedy. He's moving to LA. He's doing something really, really special with his business. And on top of that, he created a company called Project Punchline, which gives all the profits to feeding kids that are in need. And they fed thousands of kids through the things that he's gotten. So not only was he able to grow his business, he was able to grow his personal brand and give back thousands of meals to kids. So that's just one example of the hundreds that I have, if not thousands, if I asked for them to come in. And the second thing is that when I was about 21 years old, I lost my whole company. I totally was just lazy. It's totally my fault. Went down to making no money, but I still had a $50,000 BMW, car payment, 91 fuel, all that stuff. But because my value for the car, even when I had no money, I still put 91 fuel in it because I had value for the car and I didn't want to see it run below its potential. So I didn't even put 89 or 87. Every time 91, 91, 91. More expensive fuel? Yes, but I valued the car. Now what happens is, imagine I give you a $75 million house. My friend just sold one in Malibu, so they are out there. And let's say I give one to you. And how old are you?
28.
28 years old. So because I believe I was created, right? So my body's like here for a purpose. So imagine this, $75 million home, I'm paying the payment on it. I give it to you, and 28 years later, I show up. I'm like, I can't wait to see what he's done with this thing. What has he created? I show up, you haven't even taken care of anything. You haven't fixed the roof. You haven't mowed the lawn. The pond is green. The pool is green. And everything's falling apart. It looks like crap. How would I feel? I would feel dishonored, dude. I'm spending like $150 grand, $200 grand a month on this thing. 200 grand a month out of my pocket, 30-year mortgage. I'm almost got it paid off. And I come back and I realize that you ran it into the ground. And I would feel super dishonored because without any human investment, there is no human appreciation. The problem and the blessing is that the most valuable thing you've ever been given on planet Earth ever, you were given for free right at the very beginning. It's one of the biggest problems. You don't have to pay the monthly payment on this body that's worth more than $1 billion. And if you did, you'd be bankrupt your whole life in debt because you could never afford it. Because every good thing that we experience, all that happiness, all the health, all the love, all the experiences, all the relationships, is all done inside of this body. It's the only way it can ever happen. So without it, you're not going to be able to experience any of that. So I go back to the car. A Ferrari and how you treat a Ferrari is different than a 1990 Honda Civic. It's just never going to be feel the same way. They look for the cheapest gas stations. They don't wax the car. They don't replace the windshield wipers. They don't put in high quality fuel, right? They're always looking for the cheapest thing. And then a Ferrari, you can never put in lower quality fuel. It's going to run really bad. Right? The 1990 Honda Civic will never beat the Ferrari and never be more valuable, but paying the payment on that causes people to have more value. And so because of that, they treat it a different way. Some people might really love the Honda Civic, but no, on the majority, they're not going to invest in that the same way they'd invest in the Honda Civic because it's replaceable. It's not worth a lot. So by not investing in yourself and your health, the thing that you just have to manage, you just have to upkeep the house, dude. You don't even need to pay the payment. I got the payment. It was given, the whole body's given to you for free.
Yep.
You just maintain, invest it, put the right fuel in, do the things to surround yourself and do that. And that's the way we take care of it. And if you're not investing in your body, but you're investing in your car payment and your freaking gasoline, you know how many kids I tell to go sell their car? They go, man, I can't afford your programs, man. I can't learn this health thing. I go, cool, you got a car? Oh, yeah, I got a car. Cool, man. What kind of car? I have one guy right now that just joined our program that had a badass truck, dude, like badass, $1,200 a month, like whole thing. Couldn't afford it. Sell your truck, sell your car, go walk. Maybe you'll lose some weight. Maybe you'll be healthier. Or it'll suck so bad walking that you'll want to create more success. And the problem is that people want instant gratifications rather than delayed gratifications. And so ultimately, you look at your life and you look at what your priorities are, where your money is, your heart will be also. And so I like to put my money into here because outside of here, I can create everything else. If I don't have this, then it's a done deal. I don't want my wife wiping my butt when I'm 50 years old. I want to be there to be able to serve my family. And so from a value standpoint, those are some of the ways that we shift the mindset of our men. And that's why I've had a 100% success rate out of all of our one-on-one coaching clients with 0 refunds, is because if you change the mindset, then it's easy to value. Too many options. I could eat healthy or I could eat unhealthy. I could go cheap or I could go or more expensive. And all in between, those are options. I don't give myself an option. I didn't give myself an option with my car, so I never thought about it. Even when I was making freaking $1,800 a month, not making an excuse. So really, there's no excuse out there besides, do you value yourself like a Ferrari, or are you going to walk around like a 1990 Honda Civic?
It's a great way of thinking. My buddy Hal Elrod always says, you change the mindset, therefore you change the action and the behavior, which changes the result, and therefore you set yourself on a new track. So for all of those that are listening in right now that are going, shoot, man, I'm treating my body like a Honda Civic. I want to get to treating it like a Ferrari. Where do you start? What are some of the things that we can empower the listeners of the Millionaire Mindcast with to still charge the mountain, but to make sure that first and foremost, health is a focal point and we're treating our bodies in the way they should be treated?
Yeah, and know that the quote of like, a stupid man will sit there and chop down a tree with an axe for 4 hours. A smart man will sharpen it for 2 hours and then cut it down in 2 hours. Same amount of work. Don't glorify yourself just by your effort. It's your results. My employees, they go, man, I should have worked harder. I tell them, bro, I don't care if you work for 5 freaking minutes. If you're doing more results, that's all I care about. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's the result. It's not just grinding. And so one of the first things you want to do, besides, you go to the billiondollarbody.com/challenge and the billiondollarbody.com/checklist. And we'll link those up in the bio because those will be the hows, right? You need to figure out what you want and why you want it. And then understand this. Most people think that it's diet and exercise, right? They're like, diet, exercise, 70% diet, 30% exercise, or 80-20 or something like that. And they're missing so many things in the world that would give them so much momentum and way better results. The number one way you're going to see success in your health today is focusing on breath. If you hold it for 5 minutes, you freaking die. Okay? If it can have that negative of a side effect so quickly, then it also can have a positive side effect that so quickly, which is detoxing. You detox 70% of your body through your breath. So if you're holding that in, you're keeping toxins in, it's clogging the mind. All the toxins get stored in your fat cells, which makes them harder to release. So 1 will be health. 2nd is hydration. 3rd is sleep. 4th is nutrition. 5 is exercise. You got to put them in that order though. Most people go, I need to exercise today. So I'm going to wake up early and that's my number 1 priority. And that's awesome. But guess what? If you miss it, you don't do the other 4. If it was breath, takes you a few seconds or minutes, all of a sudden you're pumped. You're like, my number 1 priority is done for the day. I'm about to go hydrate and I'm going to make sure that I prepare for sleep. I already slept really well last night. Like all these things that are so easy, that are so minimal effort, I'm accomplishing them, and they give you momentum to want to do more and feel yourself better. Even if I have guys right now, they always talk about nootropics. What's the supplement I should take, right? How do I get more brain function? Right now, 3 out of 4 people in America are dehydrated, which means that they're decreasing their brain function by minimum 5 to 10%. What nootropic do you have that says like, hey, you increase your brain function by 10% guaranteed? Well, guess what? That's your first nootropic before you do anything else. So your blood is 99% water, brain is 70%, body 60%. If you don't have new water, guess what it does? It rations it out to your body. So imagine this. Could you gain muscle eating 300 calories a day?
I mean, potentially, but not likely.
No, like if you're in Africa, these guys aren't bulked up, dude. Like they're not sitting there eating like a couple bites of rice and they're like freaking jacked, you know?
Yeah.
Their body doesn't have enough resources to be able, it rations out the resource just for the most important tasks. So when you're freezing to death, does your body rush all the blood to your limbs to keep them or to your insides?
Yeah, you're going inside.
Yeah, all your blood goes here because this is what you need to stay alive. So your body's meant to just give you what you need. You can live off 1 cup of water and a few things of rice every day. But guess what? You're not going to be able to perform. So if you're doing that same thing with water, your body's just keeping you alive, well, then it's not using it for brain function. It's not using it for your athletic ability. It's not using it for energy because you can stay alive in a coma. And so what we do is we take our guys from a state of survival, which is not having enough of these different nutrients to actually make a big impact, to then giving them an excess, just like you would do to build muscle, but doing it with hydration, vitamins, and minerals to make your brain function better, so that you know that if you don't hit number 1 or you're not the best in the world, it's not because of you, it's just you reached your potential. You know that, man, I have my full energetic mental capacity, I'm growing in it, and because of that, I'm not working at 80%. Good luck accomplishing 100% of your destiny working at 80% of your potential. It's a lot harder. So sharpen that axe by 1, getting educated with the checklist and with the 15 days of workouts. Those are all done. You can do them at your house. They will literally boost your testosterone, which will give you more mental focus, decrease body fat, increase muscle mass, give you more ability to take risks, and the list goes on. So remember those 5 physical attributes of health. If you can write it in the show notes, it's breath, hydration, sleep, nutrition, then exercise. In that order, have a program for each one, which we give you, and you're able to work optimally and thrive rather than just be in survival mode all the time.
Awesome. And for all those that are listening in right now, we will be sure to have all the links that Nicholas has referenced in the show notes. So be sure to check that out. If you're watching on YouTube, it's in the show description. If you're on iTunes, head over to the website and we'll be sure to link those up. So quick question then, I'm a big believer in drinking water too. And I notice that when I get behind on my water,
this is water, by the way, it's
I feel it.
Like Starbucks as well. I don't like them, so I'm not endorsing them.
So how much water do you recommend for the average individual on a daily basis?
Do I tell them? Do I tell them the how, or do I leave them in suspense? Do this because you'll see the result. The tree is judged by its fruit. If a tree doesn't produce fruit, it's worthless. And so this is going to be a tree, and you're going to see that it produces fruit in due time. This is something that will work for everyone. 1, you want spring water or some type of high quality water minimum. Because if you're just drinking filtered water from the tap or something like that, it goes through power or water treatment plants, not very clean, not going to be high quality for you, and not structured in a way that your body easily absorbs it. So 1, invest in high quality water. From there, wake up and do this. 30 to 40 ounces before you do anything. Make yourself sit there with the huge cup until you finish it.
Wow.
That'll give your body right there, because you can lose 2 liters while you sleep just from your breath. Remember, you detox through your breath. So you're breathing, you're losing so much water. And if you ever wake up in your bed and you have like lines on your body, have you seen those like indents where you're like, man, my sheets like indented my body?
Yep.
That's a sign that you're massively dehydrated. So looking at that, feeling that out for your body, giving yourself an excess of resources right off the bat to be able to give your body that jump going, ooh, I have enough to use and it's high quality. I can absorb it. And then every hour that you're awake, just an 8-ounce cup. Guarantee you. And if you wait 2 hours, do a 16-ounce. Don't try to be perfect. There's like no judgment here. Literally just do that, and you'll see how much your energy increases. I have speakers that speak 24 hours in 3 days, and literally they're working at a whole new level, not because of just the nutrition or any of that, but because hydration is one of their biggest priorities outside of breath. And they do it while they fly. If you fly, you get massively dehydrated.
Right.
Just making sure that 30 to 40 ounces right when you wake up, 8 ounces every hour that you're awake, and you'll see a huge energy boost. You have way better skin, way better nails, way better hair, because your body then has resources to actually do those things that are luxuries for the body.
You are very intentional about equipping your clients and your community with the resources that are important to getting into action and the right action. What are some of the routines that you've seen best serve individuals who are transitioning over to this new way of living and thinking?
Setting up their priorities. Strip your whole calendar. We sit down with them in our first Get It Starting call together, whether they work with me or our other coaches. And basically what we go through is, how can I set up my calendar so it reflects my priorities? A lot of the guys will actually come up with the right priorities because they sit there and they're like, what's the right answer? Health has to be high up there. So
right.
My wife and my kids and my girlfriend that I want to have turn into a wife, whatever, that has to be a high priority. And I know my business is a priority. They already know that one's like 1, 2, and 3 at the same time, repeating infinity. And so one thing that you can do is strip your whole calendar, and health takes less time. Listen, like, I'm not telling you to spend more time on it. This will actually free you up because it takes just the same amount of energy to do something as it takes to not do it. When you're sitting there thinking about getting out of bed, just so you know, it takes the same amount of energy, if not more, to think about getting out of bed as it does to actually get out. And so not being healthy actually takes the same amount of effort, if not more, because you're thinking about it more. You're like, am I doing the right thing? Oh, what should I eat? So set up your priority. First, plug in your health stuff. Make sure you're like, okay, hydration every hour, breath. I'm going to do 2 breathing exercises for like 2 minutes. The average person spends 6 months of their life at a stoplight. So do it at a stoplight, okay? And then from there, you plug in all the health stuff, and then you plug in your relationship stuff, and then you plug in the business, and you do it in that order, and realize that your priorities aren't based off of time. It's based off of what order of importance. So even if health only takes you 30 minutes a day, awesome, man. But it's your highest priority, so that when things get hard, you still have the correct things in place. So putting that as a priority and having discipline and commitment. We talked about this at the beginning, actually. I wanted to jump into this. And this should be a quote for the show. Commitment is doing what you said you were going to do after the feeling you set it in is gone.
Right.
You don't need commitment or discipline when things are fun or easy. And when you join programs and you start on a health journey, it is. You're thinking about the results or whatever, and then you hit a plateau, and then you get knocked in the face by life, and you're sitting there with a broken jaw in life because you got hit in the face with it. Maybe something happened in your business and your relationship, and then all of a sudden it's not fun anymore. You don't feel like doing it because that excitement's gone. Well, guess what? That's where commitment and discipline is actually supposed to come in. And what's cool is that the commitment will get you to do the action, which will get you the result, which will cause the feeling to come back. Most people just can't actually commit and discipline themselves to do the action when they don't feel like it.
Right.
Get the result. But when the results come, dude, that's what people want. People coach with me not because they want to talk to me. I wish it was that, but they don't. They do it because they want the result that talking to me can give them. And that's why they do it. And discipline and commitment will get you there with having your priorities in place and setting yourself up for success, man. We have tons of little hacks that people are like, I can't resist sugary food. And we go, okay, well, have a handful of nuts before you show up, and it'll help keep you fuller. So it's not just all mental and you don't have to freaking kill yourself all the time.
Right.
It's also practical strategies on simple things that just make life easier. Eliminate the distractions. Get the sugar out of the house. Don't have anything bad in your house. If anyone gives you cookies, chuck them. Don't feel bad. It's a poverty mindset to keep them anyway because you feel bad that you didn't go through them. So go through them, throw it out all the crap, and do the practical things. But ultimately, start today. The worst thing you can do is knowing all the facts and figures. The most successful people in the world, they make decisions quickly after knowing everything they need to know. So not being an idiot. They know all the facts. They know exactly how this is going to go. They make decisions quickly and change them slowly, if ever. Unsuccessful people make decisions slowly and change them super fast. You've seen those people in your life. Don't be that guy. Now that you hear me, weigh the pros and cons, make a decision, be healthy, and then change it slowly, if ever, if you want to be successful.
So I know you and Amanda do a lot of meal prep and planning, and you guys are
Who told you that?
I've seen it from all your guys' videos, man. You guys are putting out enough content where I can keep up with you. So for those that are going, hey, all right, I want to start treating my body like a Ferrari. I want to start being more intentional. I've weighed all the options, the pros and cons, everything that, Nicholas has shared with us today. I'm ready to take that next step. What is that first next step for them, and how important is meal planning for a lot of people?
Yeah, meal planning is huge because, again, it's going down to your priority, and you also don't want to waste tons of time. So if you cook 4 meals worth of, let's say, protein, or 5 meals, and it's just one batch of it, like instead of taking 1 scoop of the protein out, cooking it, you just throw the whole thing in there. It takes the same amount of time almost. Well, guess what? Then all of a sudden you have more meals ready to go at any time, because protein is one of the hardest things to get throughout the day. The carbs are really easy to get, and fat is just a handful of nuts away, some oil away. You don't need to cook it. So ultimately, you're setting yourself up for success. But really what you should do is do one of 2 things. Either you go to the billiondolarbody.com/checklist. At the bottom, I put in a free meal plan that's used to be $110. Sample meal plan, 15 days, exactly all foods that help boost testosterone, give you energy, and make you feel really great. Try it out for 15 days. If you feel like you can do this thing on your own, well, then more power to you. But I still have the same coach I've had since I was 19. I'm 25. My health business is way bigger than his, yet I trust him, and I know that if I can be accountable to these things, I'll get a bigger result than the money that I'm investing in it. So the other thing is going to billiondolarbody.com, or maybe in that checklist, you can actually consult to speak with one of our coaches to hear, hey, what do they have for me? I want to check all my bases. And the coach's obligation is that their coaches people, which means they're going to see more in you than you can see in yourself, and they'll push you to whatever the best direction is for you to get the optimal results and return on investment. Because ultimately, if one thing gives you a $4,000 value and another option gives you a $25,000 value, then you're going to get more out of something else. And whether that's YouTube, or whether that's just continuing on the checklist, or hiring a coach, it doesn't matter. But the biggest thing is making sure that you're set up for success. And yeah, we've never had a complaint about the guys getting pushed, and they always take action. So ultimately, consult a coach, but first go try it out. Testosterone meal plan, the checklist, getting all that, test if it works for you. And if you need help, that's what we're here for.
This is a selfish question, so I'm just prepping you for that. Favorite snacks? What are your go-to snacks? Being that you're an on-the-go entrepreneur, you're always in motion. In order, a lot of people make poor choices when it comes to food or health due to convenience or lack of time, right? The story that we tell ourselves. How do you equip yourself with the right fuel and the right energy, and what are those?
Yeah, so some people would say a protein shake. I don't really like being in a hotel room or flying and having to pull out a shaker cup and throw powder in it, find water, and you're like, man, this sucks. And then you're trying to eat a banana and all those different things. I'm really big on balancing meals. So a lot of people will tell you snacks that actually they're just healthy snacks, but they're not that great for energy or aesthetic look. So each snack that I tell you is going to give you not only energy, but also is going to keep you lean and also fuel your muscles. So first is $1 Billion Body Testosterone Boosting Trail Mix. We don't sell it right now, but basically it's a mix of Brazil nuts, macadamia nuts, a dried fruit, either a raisin or a cranberry that aren't sugared, and then sometimes we'll have some coconut flakes in there and everything. All those things optimize, boost testosterone, and also keep you really full, and they're even energy. They don't make you crash. So Brazil nuts, even just 3, 4, 5 of those, that'll definitely give you massive energy as a snack. Really easy to tide you over in the middle of the day while you're working or on calls like I am. I'll be on calls for 5-6 hours straight just with doing shows like this.
Yeah.
So I can't sit there and like eat a hearty meal that's going to make me feel like I have shortness of breath and give me low energy. Second thing is something like an Epic bar. Epic bar is made of 3 egg whites with dates smashed up with a couple of nuts in it. It's a balanced meal that's going to give you protein, but also it's going to give you the fat and carbs as well to balance the meal out. Simple things like that. If you're at home, protein shakes are great because they're really quick. Obviously, prepping the meals, the meat, and actually having a full-on meal is what I recommend the majority of the time. But for me, that's the stuff I do. I even go to the place where I get organic beef jerky. So it's grass-fed beef jerky with 10 apple rings. So the rings, like the dried apple rings, because dried fruit's really good for men. And then with like 8 almonds. So I'll grab 8 almonds, grab some apple rings, and I'll eat some beef jerky. And that's like a full-on meal that doesn't need to be cooked. I can take on a plane with me. I can take it anywhere. And those are the things that I use to stay always fueled, because I look at food as fuel 99% of the time, maybe 95% of the time. But even if you're at 90% of the time, 9 out of 10 meals you eat for fuel and not just fun. I eat my meals cold most of the time because they're already prepped, and I don't use a microwave because it's terrible for you. So why? Because I look at it as fuel, because I got people to serve and I got a mission to fulfill. My mission isn't to sit there and glutton on food all day. But every once in a while, I go all out. When I do, I really enjoy it. I just separate them in my mind.
What's your all out meal?
So I love pizza. That's big. I do love ice cream, but I noticed that having sugar causes me to want it the next day, whereas pizza doesn't. I also go to a Brazilian steakhouse every once in a while.
Fogo de Chao or what?
Yeah, in downtown San Diego, which is not the highest quality, but it's something fun that my friends and I have done together. And we go there every once in a while, and I'll eat like, I don't know, 3 pounds of meat or something like that. So I try to stick toward the savory because I know me, and I know that, man, I don't really like having sugar, but once every month or every 2 months if I can. For me, it's been about almost 4 weeks since I've had actual full-on sugar meal, because I just know, man, I love it, but it's just going to cause me to have more temptation. I'd rather just not have that. So savory, man, freaking pizza is the best. I'm telling you, pizza.
I was just in New York City, and we definitely had our fair share of pizza. I'll tell you that much.
Polo Bar in New York City, make the reservation a month before because you have to. And it is an amazing experience. It's Ralph Lauren's restaurant. And man, it was off the charts. It's right there like off 5th Avenue.
Nice. So as we wrap up, I got 2 last questions for you. What are your favorite apps, or what are some of the suggested apps or resources that you recommend individuals plug into and utilize as leverage to help keep them accountable? Yeah, right.
Facebook and Instagram, follow Nicholas Bayerle on both of them. That'd probably be my first thing. Second thing would be YouTube, follow Billion Dollar Body. I'm just kidding. So I don't use tons. My wife and the girls, they use like MyFitnessPal.
Yep.
A lot of the guys doing that. There is an app out there that I know that is an accountability app that it takes money out if you don't achieve like the actual goal for the day. If you don't do your to-do list, take like $1 out or $5 out. There's also apps that you can get that you have a character if you like video games, and your character improves as you actually do things in real life and you check it off the list, like drinking water, hydration. Really, at the end of the day, my real answer is following Nicholas Bayerle on Facebook, Million Dollar Body on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. And I don't, those are all apps as well. So it's kind of a good answer.
There you go. Hey, there's nothing wrong with the shameless plug, man. Okay. Last one that I want to end on is what piece of misinformation in the industry, because I know there's a lot out there, is really leading people down the wrong path that you want to make sure that the listeners of this show do not fall victim to?
Chicken, rice, and broccoli. Totally stupid. If you do that and you keep falling back to that. Second one, chicken and broccoli with no rice, thinking that they're going to drop fat quick. Because what happens is they end up getting twice as much back after they quit. So those are the first 2. The other one's fat's bad. Fat is energy in other countries, and that's what it's called. But because we call it fat and they think about fat on their body, they think they're going to get fat. But then they actually decrease their hormones because fat actually has a lot of hormonal properties that help, which causes them to gain more fat. So they're in this vicious cycle. The last thing is that you need to work out to be ripped. Dude, I know people that work out for 3 hours a day. And unless they're genetically gifted, if they do everything wrong outside the gym, they can still be fat and unhealthy.
Yeah.
And I know people, and they're beating down their body like crazy. I know people that also can work out for 30 minutes, do everything right outside the gym, and guess what? Get shredded. So I've never even worked out for 2 hours, I don't think. I grow a business as well. I serve a lot of clients. I sacrifice some of my ripness that I really don't need to serve other people. And so I work out for 30 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes daily, and that's my thing. And outside of that is my real focus. So those three things are huge for me. And if you're doing any of those, then just literally go download that checklist. It'll give you that meal plan that'll show you, hey, we do have some chicken and rice in there, but it's in moderation, and there's other things that'll fuel your body correctly.
You guys heard it from Nicholas of the $1 Billion Body. For those that want to follow what you guys are up to, because I love the content that you guys are putting out there. And it's a lot of new age content, in my opinion. I mean, I'm a millennial too, so maybe it's just how I'm absorbing it. But for those that want to follow what you guys are up to, besides all the shameless plugs that you did before, where can you send them and direct them to?
Hey, and I didn't even mean to plug, man. I'm just like,
it's welcome. Don't worry.
So the biggest thing would be to follow $1 Billion Body on Instagram, the $1 Billion Body, and on Facebook. But make sure you set the Facebook one to a priority to see, or else you won't really see it. And if you want, you can try to get a hold of me on actual Facebook. And if you have any questions, email support@thebilliondollarbody.com. Tell us where you came from, and I'll make sure that either I or one of our coaches answers any question that you have. So just go to support. Our whole team will get it, and we'll make sure we answer any questions if you want to dive deeper.
Brother, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. I learned a ton today, so thank you for that. And I know everybody in our community is going to get a ton of value from this interview.
Man, you're going to have to apply. You better show these guys that you're doing it all.
Hey, I walk my talk, my friend.
I love it. Sweet, man. Well, I really appreciate it again. I'm humbled that you invited me on and that we made this thing happen. And I can't wait to see the impact, the hundreds, the thousands, the tens of thousands of people that if they apply this, man, it's just going to be so cool to see the ripple effect. So I appreciate you giving us the opportunity.
Absolutely, man. Wealth goes far beyond dollars, and health is one of those pillars in the wealth equation. So we appreciate you. We'll be following, we'll be supporting. And until next time, keep investing in yourself, your wealth, and your health.
Boom.
Cheers.
Well, that was a great interview with Nicholas. I just love how passionate the dude is, and for how young he is. I mean, he knows more than most professionals or individuals that I've been around. So that was refreshing and just impressive to learn from someone who is so passionate about their work, and you can tell he's put in the time and he lives the lifestyle. I think that's the biggest thing for me nowadays is most people who are doing a lot of the preaching and the teaching aren't necessarily doing it and living it. And he is a great case study and success story of his own principles and practices that he lives by. So love that. After doing this interview, I've made a few tweaks to my own health routine, just things like breathing in the morning and drinking a little bit more water instead of maybe a glass. I'm going up to the 30 to 40 ounces like he had mentioned. I also liked what he said about just working 30 minutes a day. You know, he said, I am able to gain some more time back instead of spending an hour or 2 hours in the gym. He just spends 30 minutes a day doing the right activities and the right exercises, which ultimately give him more time back, but he still gets that same result mentally and physically to keep his health in alignment with his goals. So overall, just got some good tidbits from him there. I used MyFitnessPal this last week and tracking, some of my calories and some of my meals, and overall, it just gives me the better idea of where I'm at with things. I'm, big believer in what you don't measure, you can't manage. Therefore, I want to measure my health a little bit more closely to see where I want to scale things up, take things back. So I'm sure you saw or heard of some things that Nicholas shared in this interview that you may want to implement or apply. And I invite you to share some of those because maybe there's something different that we can all learn from. So feel free to post that in our Millionaire in the Making Facebook group. We love having conversations outside of the podcast on there as well. And it's a great way to mastermind and share resources with the community. So I invite you to join us on Facebook if you haven't done that already. Overall, just fun interview with Nicholas. For any show notes or references to the links he mentioned, be sure to check out the show notes in iTunes or whatever platform you're watching this on. If this is YouTube, check out the show notes below in the show description, and you can always get those on mattaitchison.com as well. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I invite you to hit like, leave a comment, and if you're not, like I said, come find us in Millionaire in the Making Facebook group, which we love having conversations going on there with our community on a daily basis. So with that being said, I think this wraps up this Mindcast for the week. Quick note that we are getting ready to launch the next six-figure flipper real estate investing mastermind. We had a very successful launch the end of last year. We're gearing up for an even better one. More content, more videos, more community, more systems, tools, and resources. It only gets better, right? Each and every time. So if you have any interest in learning how to flip houses, learning how to invest in real estate, learning how to treat a real estate investing strategy like a business and building it out like a business, and doing that with coaching, accountability, and a community of people from all around the country, I invite you to check out sixfigureflipper.com and sign up there for the early bird list and the notifications leading up to the launch. Or you can just text six-figure flipper, that's all one word, the number 6-figure flipper, to 44222. That will allow you to get automatically plopped onto the list as well. And like I said, this will keep you in the loop with some exclusive stuff that nobody on this list will have access to, some freebies, tools, resources, as well as some discounts and further information about our mastermind coming up here pretty soon. So that's it for this week. Do make note that each and every week, like I said, we're going to be adding more tools and resources available to our community. Like I said, I'm raising my hand. My niche is in real estate investing, but there are many ways you can build wealth in our community, and we're going to be showcasing that moving forward over the next few years. So check out mattaitchison.com for the free tools and resources that are going on there each and every week. And in the meantime, remember to keep investing in yourself and your wealth on your march 2 million and beyond. Cheers, my friends.